Look into my eyes.
What are the detection advantages of thermal over other technologies?
Well, first of all, it's a very good question. Let me go back a little bit in time, because let's say in the company that in the end FLIR acquired, Trafficon, we have been using for a very long time visual cameras to do our detection. In fact, it's a very good technology, visual cameras. The big problem is that in certain weather circumstances or in certain night conditions, it becomes more challenging to detect accurately. So we have tested different other technologies. We have gone to radar. We have also tested LiDAR. But really the technology that stands out in detection performance is thermal. Or at least with thermal technology, we can get to a detection performance that is detecting day and night, whatever light conditions, whatever weather conditions. And this is extremely important, especially if you're going to look at safety critical applications. For example, if you're looking at vulnerable road users and you want to detect them, let's say, as accurate as possible, then you have to make sure that you detect them day and night in all weather circumstances. Visual still has a place, and it still is a good technology, but the problem is that in certain circumstances it can really suffer the quality of detection because of, let's say, effects that have nothing to do with, let's say, the detection performance, but much more with the visual sensor. Let me show a couple of examples, and it's becoming a little bit more clear. So this is a typical example where you have a visible camera. The sun is shining into your lens of your camera, so it's almost blinding. At that moment, your detection will be extremely bad. Now, if you're looking at the same picture, but in thermal, you have the sun here. It's not affecting your thermal image at all. It is just the circle of light, or let's say, of a white dots, and it just shows that there is a very hot object at that moment, but all the rest of your image remains perfectly clear. So this is an example of why thermal is doing a lot better in this circumstance. The same thing applies if you have vehicles that are parked in the shadow or waiting in the shadow just to move forward. Well, for example, thermal doesn't really have a problem with it. It can perfectly see a shape of a car or of a person in a shadow. So also visible light has more challenges over there. Another example, during night situations, especially when it has rained a little bit, then you can have these very strong headlight reflections on the road. If you would look with your thermal image, you always have a very, let's say, similar view, even if it's raining, even if you have a little bit of fog situation, you always get a very nice picture with your thermal. Another example here, let's say the lens of the visual camera was already getting a little bit wet, and that's making them at that moment that, let's say, the light is dispersed onto your visual camera. Here, with your thermal camera, same situation, you can completely see very clearly. So obviously, the examples that I'm showing here are, let's say, not so common, but if they appear, then we know that thermal will still operate correctly. Another example is when it's pitch black, when it's dark during the night. Well, if you want to see it, well, you can still see the headlights. That is still possible, but to do a classification, it's a lot harder. So you can have, let's say, a perfect system that during the day can give you a fantastic classification. During the night, in these type of conditions, only thermal can guarantee you that you will have still the same quality of data than what you would have during a normal operation during the day for a visual camera. So I think with this, that these are a few examples how thermal really helps us to remain reliable day and night, 24 hours a day in all weather circumstances.